guys, it's Libra here. Welcome back to my channel. And as you know, today is Friday and time for another Atlanta Housewives recap. This week's episode wasn't as exciting as the one last week, but it has its moments. The show starts with Phaedra talking to her mentor, Miss Frederica Wilson, the United States representative to Florida. And they're talking about how another unarmed black man has got shot by the police. After the conversation ends, the doorbell rings, and guess who walks in but Miss Porsha. Porsha and Phaedra both switch their little thickums asses back into Phaedra's dining room, and they talk about her talking to Frederica and the problems and everything. Phaedra wants Porsha to go with her to the Democratic convention in Philadelphia, and Porsha, of course, wants to go. But before they end the conversation, Phaedra is telling Porsha that she needs to get back in there and get a date. Porsha wants her to get a date, and she says she needs a happy ending. Phaedra says she don't know about no date and no happy ending. And then they start talking about balls and what Phaedra's going to do with the balls and all of that. Phaedra kills me because she talks about how she don't want to do nothing with balls and that ain't her style and everything. But do you all remember when Apollo and Phaedra was sitting up in Peter's club in the restaurant, in the booth, slobbing each other down for everybody to see, tongues wagging in and out and everything else and laughing? Phaedra is a freak and everybody knows it. Okay, after that, Phaedra and Porsha go to the Democratic convention, and Phaedra does her own little personal filming of the convention. It was very inspiring, and everybody knows that the convention is over already, but it was a good thing. But while Phaedra's in Philadelphia, she says she's going to stop there and see Apollo since the jail that he's residing in is not too far away. She wants to get the divorce over and done with. It's been a year and a half, and like I said, she's ready to, get the cobwebs out and get things going. Anyway, as the show continues, they start to talking about Kenya and Cynthia. The new besties are still on and with it. Cynthia and Kenya come into this bakery, I guess. It's this upscale bakery that only deals with, I don't know, people who have money or something like that, and designer cakes. And Kenya wants to have this designer cake for her boyfriend Matt because he lost his Gucci belt, and she wants to get him a Gucci cake and then replace his belt. So she also says while they're there that she's going to throw this ATV function for couples. Cynthia's all sad and upset because she's no longer part of a couple. Kenya's not paying her any attention. She picks up her phone and calls Kandi and says, "Kandi, can you and Todd come to the ATV show and bring your friend, this new person, Lena, and her boyfriend?" So Kandi says, "Well, are you going to invite Sheree and Bob?" Kenya started laughing and said, "I don't think big old Bob can fit in the ATV, and neither can Thunder Thighs Sheree." She started talking about Sheree, talking about the last episode, how Sheree was going, and you go, and you better get it together, talking about Sheree like she's some kind of bumbling idiot. It was hilarious. And speaking of Sheree, the next scene is when Sheree walking into this park and meeting her son Cairo, because Cairo has gotten himself into a little bit of trouble. The police called Sheree around 2 o'clock in the morning, and Cairo has got stopped for a DUI. Not for alcohol, he was smoking a little weed. And Sheree is upset. She's almost in tears, and she says, "Well, later on, we got to meet up with your father because we got to talk about this." So this is the kicker. When Sheree and Bob meet up with Cairo, they sit down, and Bob is like, "So what do you have to say for yourself? You want me to start the conversation, or you want to start the conversation?" So Cairo's like, "You can go ahead and start." So Bob is like, "Well, I don't know what to say. I can't really say anything about weed because when I got out of the football game, I went and got me my medical card." Meaning that he went and got him one of those cards so he can smoke medical marijuana. He says, I can't really condemn you for smoking marijuana because it's good for some therapeutic purposes. Sheree's jaw nearly dropped. She thought he was going to tell Cairo bad things about using drugs. It's not good for you. You can get into trouble. Stop hanging around with the wrong people. She was like, and Bob was like, yeah, I didn't want to come out of football and have all these aches and pains like some of the other players and get addicted to those opioids. So yeah, I had to go. I smoke me a joint every now and then. And so Sheree was like, well, I hope the joint that Cairo got wasn't from his daddy. It was hilarious. So they made Cairo say that he was going to make better decisions in the future. And I guess he won't be smoking no weed anymore. But since Bob has the feelings that he has, he and Cairo might be sharing a joint in the near future. Anyway, on to Kandi. Kandi and Todd were once again at their restaurant that they're opening up, in honor of Kandi's aunties. Kandi is upset because the restaurant is still not ready and she still hasn't recouped all of that money that she put into the restaurant. Now, you know how Kandi is. Kandi is a businesswoman and she like making her money. So she is upset. Todd is, calm down, Kandi. We're going to get it. You got to be patient. If you're going to be upset, then stop coming up in here. So while they in the restaurant, guess who walk in? Mr. Peter. The peach bitch himself. He walks in there and Todd is like, you look like new money. Now, mind you, Peter, all he had on was some jeans and a fuchsia shirt. Todd had on the same thing, jeans and a fuchsia shirt, but it was a lighter pink and he had some pockets on it. But he said Peter looked like money. Peter looked like the same Peter. His shirt was almost the same color as a peach. So they look at the restaurant. He's giving them some advice. Kandi leaves to pick up little Ace. And then Peter and Todd go outside. And they start talking about, he said, you talk to Apollo? He said, yeah, I talk to him about 2 or 3 times a week. He was asking about Cynthia and everything. Oh, and Todd said, oh, yeah, how's that going? Peter's like, hey, I love Cynthia, and I was in it, to death. But Cynthia, she can't get down with a guy like me. She don't like the way I act. I'm a hard worker and I like to do this and that. Cynthia didn't want to support my dream. She didn't want to support me. I support women and she should support me. If you ain't got a wife that's going to support you, ain't nothing going to happen. And ladies, let me tell you that that's true. I've been married for 31 years. 2 things you cannot say to your man. You cannot disrespect his manhood and his job. And you cannot not support his dreams. If you do, it's a wrap. You can forget it. Anyway, when they get Todd and Candy get back home, Todd walks in the house and Candy is looking at him like, Todd, when are you going to wash your balls? Todd is like, for what? I've been working hard. Smelly balls is a good thing. And Candy's like, no, Todd, you've been working so hard. You need to wash them balls. Smelly balls is not a good thing. Maybe he can't smell his balls. Smelly balls, no. So in comes Mama Joyce. They surprised to see her because she coming in and she pick up little Ace. And Candy's like, what you doing here, Mom? She's like, hey, I come in here, I got a surprise for y'all. And Candy's like, what? She's like, I got a surprise and it ain't that far away. So everybody get up. She pick up little Ace and they walk, I guess, to her little Candy's coach house or something. And they walking in. Miss Joyce, Mama Joyce, done fixed up the place. She got sexy stuff here, candles, little covers, and all the Candy's little sexy toys laid out. So they're surprised. And Mama Joyce is like, they need a break. Kandi worked so hard. Kandi worked so hard, she probably rusty as a drain pipe. Okay. That was that. Todd and Kandi, they get things going. Kandi changed into something sexy. Last thing I know, Todd was licking on Candy's booty. Cut to black. Now back on to Cynthia. Cynthia and Noel go house hunting. In the divorce decree, I don't know the details, but Peter says he wanted Cynthia to sell the house because he didn't want no other man living up in there with Cynthia. Cynthia didn't have a problem with it because he didn't want any proceeds from the sale of the house. That was that. When Cynthia left, I guess she called Kenya on the phone, who was driving, and she told Kenya that she just looked at a house. Kenya was proud of her and all that. And she tells her that she and Matt are having an issue because Kenya posted a picture on Instagram of her and Jay-Z when they did some video together back in the day. Kenya's in the passenger side and Jay-Z over there. They showed the picture, but it wasn't no big deal about it. But Matt, insecure Matt, couldn't deal with it. He got an attitude, ran off with his tail between his legs, and just left. Kenya said she want a man. She don't want a little boy. And I don't blame her. When everybody gets to the ATV park, everybody's saying, where's Matt? Where's Matt? Because Matt says decided he's so pissed off, he ain't coming to no ATV couples party. He gonna stay back in his hometown, I guess with his family or whatever. He gonna teach Kenya a lesson. I ain't coming to the ATV. You can take that cake, that belt, and do whatever you want to do with it. Kenya, she's upset, but she's gonna try to keep it going. She's gonna try to make it work. Then everybody else thinks that maybe Matt just can't deal with Kenya's celebrity. You know, she been out there a while. Kenya is worldly. She know this person, she know that person. And if you watched last week, you know, Matt is more or less like a hometown guy. You know, he got his family. They eat soul food. They're close-knit. I don't want to say they country, but they not like what Kenya deals with. Kenya's willing to work with Matt because Kenya want to get married. She want to settle down. She want to have a baby. But Matt can't get with the program. I don't think it's going to work. Anyway, as the show comes to an end, Phaedra is in the car getting ready to go see Apollo. As she's riding along, she gets a phone call from her legal assistant, Latoya, who's saying the office has got a suspicious package addressed to Phaedra saying he gonna blow up the place. And I guess Phaedra was his target. And anybody who try to stop him, he gonna blow them up too. Phaedra's all upset. She don't know what to do. She freaking out. She called her mama, who's got the kids. Her mama calms her down. They say a prayer together and gets Phaedra off the ledge. She calls Apollo and tells him, and he's like, well, he don't know where you live, do he? She's like, I don't know. I don't think so. So that's where it is, y'all. And that was the end of Atlanta Housewives for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode and my recap. Thank you for watching. Please like and comment and subscribe. Also, and don't forget to join me on Monday when I talk about my dealings with anorexia. So until next time, love you. Bye.